Hi there, I'm here at Fighting Chance with Mr. Ronnie Rowe, Mr. Northeast Boxing as many call him. We're going to do a little bit of a review of 2014, look ahead to 2015 and talk about some new signings and obviously things going ahead. But 2014 was the first full year since Fighting Chance actually got started. Some ups, some downs, some lessons learned, I'm sure. What memories stand out for you from 2014?
Well, I think it's got to be, John winning the Lonsdale belt outright was, a great night and great for the fighter himself to actually own the Lonsdale belt. It's what everybody trusts is the best belt in boxing without a doubt. We've been lucky as an organisation and everybody involved and everybody's played the part. It's a great team effort, and with Travis in the Maxi Nutrition, talk about excitement, talks about ups and downs,
Literally.
Travis, for a little, outfit like we are, to get John, to get a Lonsdale belt, to get Travis winning the English title, to get and being involved in the fight of the year, down to the boxing news. Craig moving on and then involved in the Northeast fight of the year, I believe. Was absolutely, outstanding. Come towards the end of the year, we didn't get the rub of the green a lot. That happens, but we're fighters at the end of the day. That's what we are. So it's onwards and upwards for us in 2015. As you said, lessons learned, and you've got to learn from the past, and that takes strength into the future.
Well, you've got to have the experience to learn from it, haven't you? I mean, 35 years in the amateurs?
35 years, yeah.
So, if you think how many lessons learned there, obviously you're still in boxing now, but the pro, I don't like calling it the pro game, but in terms of the pro side of things, there are new lessons to be learned. Massive.
It's a challenge, and that's maybe what I needed, and what I need, and it's I have so many great memories in the amateur, and so much great times at Burley, and but them days have gone, and the great I'm having such great times in the professions and
creating new memories,
creating new and learning, and life's about learning. The day that you stop learning is the day that you pack up.
I don't understand. You get these people that think they know it all, and it's like having a closed mind. It's
not for me at the end of the day. I mean, I'm lucky. We're all mad as and Gary's. I trained him as a youngster. I trained him through. He was a highly successful amateur, but that doesn't make a good coach.
True.
Yeah, Gary's got the knowledge, but also can transfer that knowledge to other people, and that's a hard thing to do. And he does an absolutely great job. Lewis is a great friend, and he's I'm sort of more sit back, analyse and look at things. Lewis goes out and gets it, and we sometimes meet in the middle. We don't agree every day of the week, but and constantly take the mickey out of each other, and that's the way that that's the way that we like it. Yeah, we've got a close-knit team. We've got a good team, and John, Travis, and Craig, good lads, and they've got a good future in front of them as we move on to 2015. New signings, very excited about the new lads, and I always say that all our from boxing, it's great to have champions, and we've all got goals and aims and goals, but if the people come in and they're given 120%, that's all we can ask for. Because there's certainly, from the people in the organisation, to get 120% from them.
Well, I was going to say, you don't mind giving it if you're getting it back, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's where it's at, and with these additions to the team, Paul, smashing lad, big lump of a lad, and rough diamond as they say, and got a heart like a lion, and he did. Obviously, he's done it in the past, and he's done some really good stuff. And we're just hoping that we're bringing the stuff. What we're trying to bring as well is, that professional attitude that with the links with Gateshead College and stuff like that, the nutrition, the conditioning side of things, the diet, and you know, the physio and stuff like that, which is of massive importance, you know, and obviously trying to promote lads and get shows in the northeast, because that's what we need. You know yourself in this game, it's a tough old game, and it's a tough game financially in the ways that the lads have been on ticket deals and stuff like that, and that's the way that the game is. But if we can, you know, get regular shows in the northeast, that doesn't mean I'm really not interested in putting people on the road I couldn't train personally. I couldn't train people out to know they're going out to get beat, you know, because I've got such a passion for the game. 50-50 fights is what we want, but like, I'm not taking people on the road. It's not for me.
Steve Ray's got a show in February.
Yeah, great.
Phil Jeffries has got a show in March.
Great.
At the minute, he's got 16 fights on, and he's looking to have more. And then you've got the Sky show with John and Travis fighting on April the 4th.
Yeah, fantastic.
So 3 months, in talking to Lewis, he's talking speculatively of maybe fighting chances next promo being in May, which some might say a bit of a risk 4 months in a row, but the April 4 show is going to be so huge and a success, because, you know, Sky are going to promote it correctly with Anthony Joshua and people coming into town. It's going to be a fan.
It's going to be a great show, yeah. It's going to be great. Great to be part of.
Exactly, and I think on the back of that, I was talking to Lewis about it, and it's like, some might say it as a risk putting a show on in May, but after the success that April 4 is going to be in terms of the atmosphere and the whole event, that could potentially be 4 months in a row the region having shows, which is just unprecedented.
It's
but for local boxers, in terms of the opportunities.
The thing is that we've got a lot of pros in the northeast. I think we've got more than we've ever had now, and a lot of them bring their own fan base as well. And in them terms, we're obviously lucky with Travis and John, or lucky, one way I'd like to put it, that they're going to be on that show. But there's a lot of the local lads who are not going to be on that show. And so if we don't provide something for our fighters that maybe they'll not be on that show, then where do we go? So we need them out boxing, and you know, we're not looking we don't want a loss, but we don't, you know, we're there to look after fighters, get the fighters away, and that'll, somebody like Andy, who's you know, to me always been a fantastic boxer, and I love his style, and love the way that he moves, and if we can get him up there, and the only way we'll get him up there is by putting him on shows.
Yeah, and fighting regularly.
And fighting regularly. Nobody would, if I'm promoting a fighter, right, and he's a decent fighter and a good fighter, I'm not going to put him in Ronnie Buchanan. So he's not going to get fights on other shows. It's as plain and simple as that. And so he needs to get that promotional build-up, the right build-up for him. Yes, he is getting on, but the other side would be, as an amateur, he was a mover and he didn't get hit a lot. He's never been hit a lot in the pro game, and I do believe that, you know, a lot of younger fighters, they get, you know, who are very active, get hit, and Andy hasn't took the punches, and hopefully he'll not because of his style, so he could have longevity.
Well, he was saying he used to get called the ghost because he didn't take any. I call him a lot worse than that. Molly's ghost.
It's a ghost because I couldn't get him to train. No, he's always been a dedicated kid.
But he's also had that time out of the ring in terms of not having those males on the clock, come back to it fresh. He's had some interruptions and fights called off, which again, in terms of, you look at him as a 34-year-old, he's not a typical 34-year-old in terms of miles on the clock.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And it was, it's great that, you know, as I say, I went back on the pads with him a few nights ago, and we've done a little bit of work, and it's like back to the old times, you know. And as I say, he was training with Mickey for a long time, and parts of him that are in the pro, because I'm still learning with it, with the professional side of it, and there's some of the moves that, you know, we'll take from there, and at the end of the day, we're trying to look after him and trying to get the best we can from him, and we'll keep pushing. And you know, he's got the right attitude. He's got a lovely family there, and
he's just a lovely fella,
and steady and settled, and you know, got the right attitude. So,
and
crossed.
And the skill set.
Oh, he's definitely got the skills.
There's no question about that. And the thing is, I mean, sometimes when you get people like who are like a ghost and they don't take shots, there's sometimes a question mark whether they can take shots. But you look at his fight when he fought Johnson McLumfa at the Summer Rumble a couple of years ago, and I mean that was a
brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah. I mean, the pair of them
and
gave and took.
Johnson can punch a bit. I've got a lot of time for Johnson, and you know, he can go a little bit. So you know, he's up there amongst them. Johnson's just been, you know, very close. Unfortunately, if it wasn't for the kid, for the cut, he would have been up for an English title. So,
yeah.
So let's, you know, take Andy on that route and see where we can go with him. You know, as I say, and with the established fighters we've got there with John, Travis, and Craig, they've got Craig's wife's just had a baby, so.
There's more motivation.
So more motivation. Yeah. So he's having a little bit of rest at the moment, and
bit quality time with the family.
Quality time with the family. He deserves. He had a long camp fight.
If anybody deserves it after that fight, Craig.
Yeah. So he was having a bit of rest at the moment. John's back in there as you saw tonight. He didn't know anything about any of this. So
I tell you what, John's looking in good nick though.
Yeah.
He was saying he was about 15 stone when he went into training for the last fight with Courtney Fry, and obviously he's had to lose the weight over that period. He was saying about the training in the bag, and looking at the condition he's in there now with 4 months practically to go for the fight. It's like, and he mentally looks great. Yeah,
it was a tough one, and it was, you know, but he's got an opportunity, and he's chomping at the bit for that opportunity. You know, he's had success in the past, and you know, John's always been great at coming back. Look at the injuries he's had. He had with a broken jaw, which
I've had one.
Yeah.
So I know it's like
with a broken jaw, and then and the injury earlier in his career, and he came back, you know, from them. And he's a thinking fighter, and he'll have a look at that himself, as well as, you know, me and Gary and him sitting around the table and have a chat about things, about, you know, how we're progressing, how we'll move on.
Well, one thing that John interviewed him earlier there, and one of the things he was saying is when he was actually fighting Courtney Fry, because he was very awkward, Courtney Fry. And
without a doubt.
I mean, he was always going to be. I think he was better than most people expected him to be at the stage of the career he's at. And again, John recognised, you know, it's another fresh lesson to be learned, even at this stage of his career. You know you shouldn't underestimate the opponent, but you can't help what your expectations are of something that's coming up, and if you expect them to go out and win comfortably, I mean, you should be wanting to win, but it's a fine line between being confident and not letting your guard down at all.
If you haven't got the sort of... He trained really, really well for it, John, and...
well, that showed in getting through the fight.
Yeah, and in the... on the, you know, we did video analysis on it, and that was a different Courtney Fry that I'd ever seen box.
Yeah.
You know, and so I learned a lesson from it myself as well as the coach. And you know, when something doesn't work out, it's not just the fighter at fault.
Have your contingencies ready?
Yeah, we've all got, and we had plenty of B and C, and if we didn't have them plans, he wouldn't have got through that.
Yeah.
And you know, fair play to him for sticking in and you know, dragging his way back into the fight.
And then getting on top.
Yeah, and you know, he had to bully him, and that's how he got back into the fight, and we'll learn a lesson from that. If we don't learn a lesson, you know, we're not worth our salt.
Well, you shouldn't continue. I mean, especially in the hurt game.
Without a doubt. And so hopefully we'll learn from it. Exciting for Travis, going a slightly different route with him. A lot of disappointment in that one. A lot of disappointment there. So,
especially after all of the highs he had with the Maxi Nutrition, getting all the coverage on Channel 5, like you say, fight of the year, 2, you know, great knockouts.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, I just have the there's obviously there was friction there and this and the other, but because it was the second or third time he'd pulled out, and then the camp dragged on from 12 weeks to 15, 16 weeks, and
it's almost like everything that could go wrong did go wrong, isn't it?
Well, it was only in the, you know, he was so perfect that, you know, and then a few days to go, and he gets this injury, and we were just doing a bit of padding. He sees me legs sore, and so I thought, you're ready now anyway. It doesn't matter, have the day off, have the rest of the day off, and then we'll start back again tomorrow. And still complaining. So, you know, we went to physio and stuff like that, which we've got in place and that, and we're working on it so hard, and eventually there's just, you know, this isn't just muscular, and so we had to get it scanned. So we got an MRI scan on it, and there was a stress fracture of the foot, and so that was it. And then.
And he would have still fought if he'd been given.
been given the chance. Well, you know what we talk about in this game with finance. It was a really good payday for him. It could have put him right up amongst the big stuff.
Yeah.
But
at the same point, I know that it's a frustration. It's a potential step back compared to the step forward the final would have been. But if you look at the progress he's made just in the tournament itself and the exposure he's had, there's still a lot to build upon.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely, you know, attitude from him in the, you know, in this camp of wanting to win. You know, we travelled a lot to different sparring. We travelled to Ireland about 5 or 6 times, and it's hard work. And you know, I couldn't stop him training because he was so much wanting him.
And again, that because it was the injury was right towards the end, you've still had an excellent training camp, which you've actually had in there as well, you know. And
we'll put that in the bank. We'll put that in the bank, and you know, a new challenge with this being offered this opportunity to work on to be on the April the 4th show. You know, it's going to be a title fight in the Continental. I've got to speak to Eddie when he gets back. And
any idea who he might be fighting yet, or is that?
It's still not finalised yet, but you know, getting in on Continental. I just have so always there for us for a British title later. He's English champion at the moment, getting into Continental title fight, and you know, he'll be up there amongst them. He's certainly got the talent.
He's still mandatory for the British. I know Bob maybe going different direction, but if he vacates, then
yeah. Well, it's
boxing brothers, both British champions.
That'd be fantastic. Both prize fighter champions.
Yeah.
You know, like this, as I say, in history, the only two brothers to win prize fight. It's been, you know, John, I believe, being the first Tyneside boxer to win the Lonsdale belt outright.
I think he is.
Sure. But you know, to me, that's gone now. We've got to move forward, and you know, when you finish your career, to me, when you finish your career, that's when he's got that forever now.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, enjoy it, don't get us wrong, but like,
don't rest upon it.
Don't rest upon it. Don't make it your final goal if you want to achieve more. And you know, that's where we need to begin. And it means quality work, and it means investment. We're already investing in the lads. And because we've got faith in them, and because, you know, we want it.
And the right team around as well.
And, you know, that's been built by the right people. And we've got, you know, it's good sponsorship over the time. And it's been through damned hard work, and, you know. But the biggest thing to me is, like, and when John won the Lonsdale belt, and me and Gary there, and Lewis there, and Travis and all of that, and to that night, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you can take money away from anybody, you can't take memory.
Yeah.
And that'll, you know, stick with me for God. And hopefully.
Well, we've got some more memories to create before you start packing in and looking back on these things.
I think you'll be. I don't think there'll be much chance of me packing it in, to be honest.
Not in a hurry. Well, certainly not this year. With what I mean, looking at 2015, you've the big fights on April the 4th. You've got Craig's going to come back, and again, I think his stock from the last 2 fights he's had, topping the bill for the first time, and then the fight against Lee Mould. So his stock's gone up. You've got Andy Buchanan coming in. And
Paul O'Hagan's looking great, as I say. It's, and Paul's a local lad from this area. What, you know, with the whole organisation, with the new gym and everything, for youngsters to look up to seeing, hey, I'm from around the corner from there, I can do that. You know, and you know, to see him do that, so it's all pluses, isn't it? At the end of the day, and you know,
with community, which is what boxing. I mean, you don't get much community these days.
Yeah.
You get next door neighbours not knowing each other's names and things like this. Whereas, I think with the boxing, you still have that community feel with it.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, and we've got, you know, we've got with Steve with the amateur lads and some great lads there, and it's a great community organisation, to be honest, and we all work well together. We're a team. We're close knit, and you know, we're ready to make 2015 a very special year.
Well, I look forward to sharing that year with you, Ronnie, mate.
Yeah, good crap, man.
Thanks very much, man.
Thanks a lot.